returning, welcome back. For the new viewers, thank you for joining me. Today we're going to discuss Camp Hero and the Montauk Project theory. Some pretty bizarre stuff. Sounds like it's right out of science fiction novel or movie. Maybe it is. You let me know. I'm going to give you the facts. I'm going to tell you about Camp Hero. I'm going to tell you about the theory. And you tell me what you think in the comments. Do you think this is just nonsense, or do you think that there's something there? Have you experienced Camp Hero? Whatever. So let's get right into it. So we start out in 1941. Germany declares war on the United States. It's World War II. The United States realizes that they're not really prepared to go to full war, to enter this war, specifically because there's some vulnerable points within the United States, vulnerable to possible invasion. At that time, it was a concern that Germany would invade the United States. So they find one spot on the tip of Long Island at Montauk that's vulnerable, and for numerous reasons. The waterways, you can enter New York that way. It's very, especially back then, it was a very desolate place. Still kind of is now. And then you can access through those waterways. You can access Connecticut. There's multiple points you can get to the United States. So they create in 1942. The military, United States Army, creates Camp Hero. Now Camp Hero, although it's a full military base with heavy artillery, military personnel living at the base, it's disguised as a fishing village, just so that it wouldn't look like a military target. In fact, they even had a mock church that was set up like a church on the outside, but on the inside it's actually a gymnasium for the officers to use. That still stands today, by the way. You can actually view that. There was also some Cape Cod style houses. They're long gone. But anyway, so now it's up and running. It's the military base. Let's fast forward. The war ends. Now we enter the Cold War, right? So now we're going to 1951. In 1951, Camp Hero now gets taken over by the United States Air Force, and it changes names. It goes from Camp Hero to Montauk Air Force Station. And in 1958, a tower is erected by the Air Force, a large tower in the center of Camp Hero, or the Montauk Air Force Station. It's 90 feet tall with a 40-foot wide dish. And it's actually what they call, it was Cold War era. It was called a SAGE tower, SAGE, and I think it stands for Semi-Automatic Ground Environment Detection Network, something along those lines. But anyway, the purpose of this is in the event that the Soviets would launch an attack, a nuclear attack, a missile, it would give the United States a 30-minute warning. And this tower emitted frequencies up to 425 megahertz. And that's the frequency that's alleged to enter the human consciousness. I'm just put that out there. That's as an aside. That's the frequency that's supposed to be able to enter the brain. And locals say that when this tower was in operation, TV signals would be decimated. You couldn't watch TV. There was no cable back then. It was all airwaves. And people complained of migraines. Constant migraine headaches from this thing. So the tower is up, 1958, and then ultimately in 1981, the whole base is decommissioned. It still stands today. The tower is there. The whole base is there. It's now owned by the New York State Park System, and you can visit the camp. I mean, obviously the building structures are off limits, but you can visit around there. So now it gets weird. Now the theories start, right? So now it shuts down in 1981, and now these conspiracy theories start taking place. It really comes to the surface like in the 80s, okay? Specifically, the Montauk, what was known as the Montauk Project, right? Now the Montauk Project alleges that there was a series of government studies that were conducted at Camp Hero for the purpose of developing psychological warfare techniques and exotic research, including time travel and actually teleportation. And I told you, I warned you that this was bizarre. And that's basic. That's the basic Montauk Project theory. Now, the theory further alleges that as part of this project, former Nazi scientists were taken from Germany, given amnesty, given citizenship, with with the understanding that they would continue this type of research that they were working on in Germany over at Camp Hero. Now, in episode 1, I talk about Operation Paperclip. So we know that that existed. Operation Paperclip, real quick, is when the United States offered amnesty to former Nazi scientists and engineers for their understanding that they would study here. So we know that that happened. We don't know for sure that it happened at Camp Hero, but that's what's out there. Now, these Nazi scientists supposedly worked on a weapon that could control the brain, mind control, brainwash, that control human thoughts. Also, it was alleged that this weapon could induce schizophrenia basically by the push of a button. And time travel and teleportation. Teleportation being like almost like you would see in Star Trek, beam me up, Scotty, where it's just kind of like you go from one spot to the next on a molecular level. I don't know the science behind it, but teleportation is what it's called. Now, the alleged test subjects of Project Montauk were runaways, homeless individuals, and a group of about 50 boys that later became to be known as the Montauk Boys. And these Montauk Boys were allegedly abducted from the area, from Long Island. They were subjected to mind control experiments, undergoing psychological and physical conditioning with the goal of creating a super soldier. And these kids, now adults, some of them have come forward. I'm going to give you, at the end of this video, I'm going to give you some suggested documentaries and reading. Some of them have come forward claiming that they, under hypnosis, they recalled all the details of this secret lab and this Montauk Project. So that's out there. There's something else. There's something called the Philadelphia experiment. And this goes back to 1943. And in 1943, there was a battleship. It was called the USS Eldridge, and it was in Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. And it's alleged that this battleship had actually disappeared from radar for a time period, and then it reappeared somewhere else, thereby hinting at either time travel or teleportation. And as part of the whole Montauk Project theory, it's alleged that the scientists that were involved in the Philadelphia experiment were removed to the secret lab at Camp Hero. Now, the secret lab is alleged to be 12 stories below ground, directly below this large tower that I talked about. And it's supposed to have a series of intricate tunnels and labs, and supposedly it's still in existence today. That it's still going on. Although the camp is on a state park, it's alleged that it's kind of like hiding in the open because the structure's there. It looks like it's abandoned, but underneath is where everything's taking place. Now, there is another theory out there they call it the disinformation theory. And under this theory, it's alleged that the government actually is putting out these bizarre tales, these bizarre conspiracy theories to kind of throw people off the trail to the top secret stuff that was really going on there or is really going on there. So that's called the disinformation theory. So I don't know. What do you think? Is this just, it's bizarre. I told you it's out there. But there are people that have come forward and have taken lie detector tests, and it's proven that this has happened, through the lie detector test and their testimony. So let me know what you think in the comments. As far as some further reading or viewing, if you find this stuff interesting, as I do, probably the best place to start with the Montauk Project was a book. I think it came out in the early 90s. Pretty sure you can find it on Amazon. It's called The Montauk Project, Experiments in Time. If you like novels, there's a novel out there called Montauk Time. There's a couple of documentaries. One is called Montauk Chronicles. I haven't really searched where you can find that online, but I do know you can get it on DVD at Amazon. It's probably out there somewhere else. And Discovery Channel has a series called Mysteries of the Abandoned, and they actually profiled this Camp Hero, and that was season 10, episode 9, and that's called the Montauk Conspiracy. Now, lastly, there's a Netflix series called Stranger Things. The conspiracy theories surrounding Camp Hero and the Montauk Project are said to have inspired the development of Stranger Things. In fact, Stranger Things was originally to be called Montauk, and then that changed. So that's pretty neat. So let me know what you think. If you like these videos, please please subscribe, comment. If you have something that you want me to talk about, a topic you want me to discuss in future episodes, please let me know. I do this for fun, and I'm more than happy to accommodate if it's something that I can research and put out there for all of you to share. Until next time, take care.